Welcome to Raw Sportscast. My name is Scott Harrigan. I am your host. And that little riff, I can't get enough of that little riff. That is our very own Jesse Roper who wrote that for us. Today, folks, what we got going on here today is we have some Dragon Boat people here. We have on my right, Eric Ages. Eric, welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Scott, nice to be here. Thank you.
No worries. And my good friend, Jenny Lou. Jen Lou, how are you, Jen?
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Are you nervous?
A bit.
Yeah, don't be nervous. Good stuff. So, listen, let me just get this out of the way right away, is that I've been to a few of your events, Jen, and I volunteered a couple times, and I remember doing a story years ago, and I do go to, before the COVID and all that stuff, it's one of those events that the single thing that sticks out to me is that everyone's always smiling. Always. No matter what event. Why is that?
Well, I think because everybody has a good time.
Yeah, but they're competing. It's like, do you have an answer? Like, everybody is just so happy to be there.
Scott, I think it looks like a friendly neighborhood sport, but underneath it all, those soccer moms and other people who dragon boat across a broad spectrum of ability and competitive ability are unrepentant about the fact that it's a blood sport.
That's my point, Eric. That is exactly my point. Like, I've seen rugby matches. I've been there. I've seen the hitting. I've seen that, and afterwards, sure, they'll have a beer and something and go upstairs. But, they just, even in the height of competition, they're always smiling with their team. And it's just something I've always taken away going, I love this sport. Well, this is cool.
Off water, we're all friends.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
On water?
Yeah.
Don't look at us.
No, I get it, right? Now, where did Dragon Boat and paddling, where did that originate? Is it Aboriginal? Is it indigenous?
Well, the indigenous has their type of canoe racing.
Okay.
But this specific Dragon Boat came from China.
Okay.
Yeah. The story is quite sad.
Oh.
It came from, a suicide.
What?
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit?
Well, yeah.
Without getting like...
Now remember, Jennifer, that's a trigger for some people, so be careful.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It was apparently he was a poet. He was a government official.
Who is he?
Q-Yon.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was exiled to a village where the villagers loved him, but he just couldn't handle the change in I guess back then. This is like
50,000 years ago, Scott.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and basically when he jumped into the Milo River, that's the villagers all went out to try and save him, but that didn't happen.
So he was loved. He didn't think he was loved?
Not sure. I think he couldn't handle the changes in the world or in his world. So
mental illness even maybe back then?
Could be, but
isn't that something?
So the villagers, which is your team, they went out to save him. Didn't happen. And then from then on, they paid tribute every year, which is about the spring solstice or the 5th month of the 5th day of that year from the lunar calendar. And that's where we have our dumplings. They threw it into the water.
What?
Yeah.
The dumplings?
To keep the spirits away from the body. It's quite the story.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite the story.
I love dumplings. I'm never going to be able to eat another dumpling without like, oh, geez.
Well, we call it dumplings, but it's a packet of rice in some banana or some leaves, and it's just thrown into the river.
Scott, in this day and age, people don't have time to eat dumplings when they're dragon boating, and and they're not allowed to jump out of the boats either.
No, okay, got it, yeah.
No.
And where do you get banana leaves? I mean, really, let's be honest. Where are they coming from these days? Okay. Well, that's what that
Yep.
That wasn't on my notes.
Nope.
That wasn't on my notes.
That's where the team
Really?
Team and village comes together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was for this man, and then they turned this into and it just evolved from out of tribute, respect.
That's right.
Now, do you today still respect? Is there a prayer or?
Yes. Before every Dragon Boat races, major festivals, they invite the Taoist priests where they bless the boats, bless the festival, bless everybody involved.
Really?
And and it's called the eye dotting. So they basically dot the Dragon Boat's eyes to make them come alive for the weekend.
No.
Yeah.
Can you give me one verse of the prayer?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
It's a chant. And
Is it a chant?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta do the chant.
And Scott, the chant goes on for about an hour.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll. Is it like the haka?
Oh, yeah.
You can compare it to that.
Yeah?
But it's much more not so aggressive.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So a lot of praying to the west, the north, the east, the south. They do all that.
Wow.
The water, the Chinese superstition is strong.
Okay.
The haka is definitely a South China Sea tradition and a Polynesian tradition. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I know if you've seen it, it's a fantastic thing
I've
to see.
seen it. I've had the pleasure of seeing it live, and there's a couple things I'll tell you guys, Jen, Eric, is that there's only a few things in this world that make the hair stand up in the back of my neck, like you get goosebumps, and one of them is bagpipes doing either Flower of Scotland or Amazing Grace, something like that. Bagpipes, I just like it just goes right in me. And the other is the Canadian national anthem. But when I heard the haka done, I should probably add that to the third. That's the only three things. So it's
powerful.
Power! Yeah. It's and there's different versions of it. And I've heard, like, anytime I come across it on YouTube, I have to, and it's always different. You know, so it's really cool. I actually a little off topic, maybe it's not, but I actually seen the students in the school. The principal was retiring, and every student stood up in the assembly room in the auditorium and did this haka and how the guy was standing is beyond me, because his knees were, you could just see how weak he was with the emotions. It was massively powerful. You look it up on YouTube, it's insane. Moving forward, so are there different boats? Are there different sizes? I know for a fact that when I did the story, I did a story on and the boat was
The Millennium.
it was
I think it was the Millennium.
it was I think they had MS.
Oh,
or they were
the
blind.
teams.
No, MS. I think it was MS.
The teams.
Yes, yeah. Are there different boats? Can you just kind of walk me through the boats, Eric? Can you just? Is there, like, what's your boat that you ride on? Is it the same boat, Jen?
I see. Well, first of all, the hulls themselves, the boats themselves are, that's an interesting story for folks on Vancouver Island. We, back a long time ago, before Fairway Gorge Paddling Club was formed, the previous iteration of that club was Go Row and Paddling Association of Canada. And we inherited the design and the manufacturing process through a local manufacturer of Millennium Dragon boats. And they are locally island-made boats that are across British Columbia and parts of Western Canada and are used in many races because they're safe. And unlike our friend 5,000 years ago in China, they don't tip. So, so they're very, very safe, and they're great for recreational racing. There are a number of different models around the world. The premier boats for big international races are certified by an international body. And they are tippier than the boats that we use here on Vancouver Island that are built and sold by FGPC through a company called Oceanus, which is a fantastic boat builder here out in Sydney.
Are they all wood, or is there?
No, they would have been wood back in the day, as they say, but the boats that are built by us and for us are made out of a high-density foam core and a number of resins and epoxies and so on, and they are indestructible. So they're built like tanks, really. They're fantastic because they weigh about 4,000 pounds when they're fully loaded with 20 paddlers.
Oh wow! So is it the same as like a rowing Canada boat that you see the eights on? Like, is it the same kind of material or?
That's a good comparison. Rowing shells, Olympic rowing shells, an 8, for example, that is fantastic to watch when you're watching the Olympics. Those 8s weigh a lot,
Okay.
and they're built out of the same sort of composite construction that dragon boats
Okay.
are. Yeah.
And what are the boats with the Hawaii 5-0 looking things on the side there? What's that? And as follow up question, Jen, can you give me a verse? Since you couldn't do the prayer, can you give me a verse of the Hawaii 5-0?
Oh my God! You don't want me to
Do that for me. But back to the original question. What is that stabilizers or is that help for speed or
Well,
tippiness?
Scott, you're referring to outrigger canoes, and
so it's not even.
We train and cross train in both kinds of hulls. So lots of the more competitive, serious paddlers train in outrigger canoes, and outrigger canoes are really designed for open water. So dragon boats are inside water, in straight lanes, or sometimes we do things called guts and glory, where you turn and do tricky sort of steering maneuvers and so on, and those are in dragon boats. But dragon boats are 44 feet long usually, and outrigger 6-seat outriggers are about 40 feet long, and they have a stabilizer that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That's called an AMA, and they're out to the left usually across the world, and they're really designed for open water, including big surf, big waves. So many of our paddlers at Fairway Gorge Paddling Club, we compete down the coast of the United States, and in various sort of complex water conditions in BC and in Hawaii and other places further afield.
Okay. So I guess Hawaii 5-0 was onto something then.
Absolutely.
That's a real thing. Okay,
in fact, I was booked to go to Hawaii for some surfing in just a few weeks, and of course, that's not going to happen.
No, exactly. One of the things that I was impressed about, and I kind of touched on it, is the different classes. I remember the story. Do you remember that time I came down and did that story years ago? This would have been, I don't even know, 2009 maybe.
That's
something.
a blur.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But we did it down off the gorge at Selkirk Waterway.
That's right.
And you're still there, right?
We're still there.
Yeah.
That's where we're situated.
But can you go over some of the classes that you have? I know the MS, and then you have intermediate. Can you kind of just go over what the different classes are?
I think Eric would be able, because he does a lot of the programming.
Okay.
I just have fun on the water.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jen's a pretty good stern too, and she's a very good coach. But at the club, we probably in a normal year we'll have we're just talking dragon boat right now, but we would have about 25 different crews training out of our facility.
Okay.
And at 25 crews, they generally range from 20 to 30 athletes plus a coach and a drummer and a stern.
I want to talk about the drummer in a bit, but
yeah, drumming's fun.
And the purpose of that, like, is it like, again, I'm going to go back to the rowing aspect of it, where you have that guy in the end. Is that, I'm sure that's the same kind of idea, or is that timing?
Well, similar. There's a chain of command in every boat, and when you have a solo boat, if you're all alone in your boat, you're the full chain of command all in one piece. You're the steersman, the navigator, the athlete, the competitor. You're everything in one. When you're in a crew boat, those skills get parceled out with different sections of the boat and different roles within the boat. So there's a steersman and there's a drummer who's sort of leading the race sequence down the race course. But just to go back to the different kinds of crews, there's a broad. Dragon boat is distinguished by the fact that there are low barriers to entry. So you can have people who are just beginning. You can have kids of all ages. You can have folks. I coach a really highly competitive crew that range in age from 50 up to 80.
I've actually seen, Eric, where people they had no mobility. They had to get lifted in the boat and out of the boat. So, I mean, what sport can say that? This is just amazing, right?
Yeah, it is. And also we have a lot of the original dragon boat programming in Western Canada and by extension across Canada was inspired by a physician in British Columbia that urged women recovering from breast cancer to engage in dragon boat. He thought at the time that was an excellent sort of all-body conditioning sport for people in recovery. And it started that way, and it has since expanded. That kind of all-body fitness is recommended for people of all ages and abilities. So and also the low barriers to entry go to folks like people with MS. We have MS programming. We have people who are vision impaired who also are highly competitive. But they're smiling off the race course. But when they're on that race course at the start line, they're as competitive as anyone else. So we have all kinds of options for people who are interested in competing and training on the water.
Is that the same? Is the boat similar then? Like it doesn't matter what your disability is. This same boat, no matter what.
Yes.
Okay. What about weight? Like I'm a big guy, so would I go in the middle? where do I go? I ain't sitting in the front. Like you ain't pushing my arse around the gorge.
You are asking a very technical question. But that's interesting because boat balance. It's a crew sport, and in dragon boat you're sitting 2 by 2, just like Noah's Ark.
Okay.
And you need to have one giraffe on one side, matched by a giraffe on the other side.
Right.
Same with the,
You can say elephant. You can say elephant. That's all good, buddy.
Yeah, but you've got to pair up people along all of those 10 benches. You have to pair them up so that the boat. In fact, one of the things that many recreational crews do is they do something called a weight check, and you might see it on the water where all those athletes put their paddles up in the air.
I've seen that. What's that?
And that is the drummer and stern working together to do a weight check to make sure that boat is sitting true on the water.
Like a level.
That's right. Exactly right.
Really? Oh, I thought it was just more of a pump up thing. Like, let's get going. Oh, okay, that's cool. All right.
Scott's asking some good questions here.
Yeah, that's what I do for a living, Eric. Where you sound shocked here. Did you not tell him, Jenny Lou? Jesus, thanks.
He knows the ins and outs.
This is unscripted for people that want more. I know absolutely zero about dragon boat races. This is all just shite coming out of my mouth. But no, so part of why we do this show is because it's good to not know. It's good to ask questions that I want to know. Right? And I'm sure other people would too, but they don't want to look foolish. And yet here I am. I don't give a shit. So what about if you have a big person like myself, but my skill level isn't like the guy or girl beside me? Would that throw the balance off? Like when you're trying to match up these 10 seats with the individuals, would it matter that my skill level isn't going to be the same as hers or his?
No, not really. Because we actually... When I do my coaching, I actually set new paddlers with experienced paddlers, so they can sit beside each other and kind of show them a little bit. Because sometimes I'll say, Scott, just watch the person next to you, your partner, or watch the person in front of you.
Okay.
And just mimic their stroke for now.
Right. So it's by osmosis almost. Like you're just going to pick that up by the other. But if you're not digging in enough.
I'll know. The coach will see
it. Right.
And we'll coach, and we sometimes walk up and down the boat when you're paddling. Sometimes, we'll sit in front of you and we'll just kind of help you with the technique, because dragon boating is quite technical.
Oh man, it's
like, quite physical. It's not normal strokes of.
No, you're not out on the pond at just going for a little rowboat with your sweetheart.
No. It's important in the boat. Timing is crucial.
Yeah.
Entering, exiting, pulling, everything is, we focus on timing.
Wow. Okay, cool. Now the other part is that I've always kind of found amazing is it's getting to the timing. It's who sets the pace? Is it the other boat that you're beside? Do you even care, or there's nobody else out there? It's you're being coached by that drummer?
Wow, that is another excellent question.
I'm full of them.
Yeah,
I'm full of them, Eric.
One of the, again, this is a highly subtle, technical kind of observation that you've made just by virtue of being a spectator. You need an experienced team will actively resist being affected by the rate or pace of boats on either side of them. And it's very, very difficult to make sure that you are not being affected by differing rates from boats on either side of you.
The wake?
Not the wake,
Okay.
the rate of paddling.
Okay.
So you're saying how fast are people paddling to my left or my right in other boats on a race? If you are impacted or influenced by that, your performance as a boat will go down. So you need to really, really actively focus on your boat and your rate. And to answer your question, the rate is set by, it's a team sport, so everyone's involved, but in terms of chain of command, the drummer who sits at the front and who hits that drum and is in really aggressive communication with what's called the timing box, which are the first few benches within a dragon boat. So those are high performance paddlers, usually in the first few seats, that are setting the rate and setting the time, and then everyone, all those 10 benches, all those 20 paddlers are responding to subtle changes in rate as you go down the race course.
Okay, so this is what I envision. So the drummer sits at the bow, facing the stern.
That's right.
How would that drummer know if a boat's ahead of you to drum more?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. There are the amount of variation that you can achieve in a team over 500 meters, for example, has its limits. So you need to work within your crew's limits.
You're only going to go as fast as that boat, regardless of who's going to win or lose. That boat has a top speed on the ability of the people paddling.
And the drummer's role is to get as much speed and efficiency out of those 20 paddlers as possible over those 200, 300, 500 meters, whatever it might be.
Okay, that's cool.
Takes months of training.
It would take months, yeah. I just see myself on that boat, and I bet you that drummer would hate me. He would be playing like that popcorn. He'd just be going nuts. What I really find intriguing is it's a sport for everybody, but it's not a sport for everybody because the amount of athletic ability it takes to do this. Now, I've talked to people that have taken up longboarding and where they paddle, and these guys and girls came from running marathons and their knees or whatever, or they came from biking and they just found that paddling is their new sport. That is it. But they said it's insanely difficult to pick up. And it's so hard. And then they've gotten into dragon boat racing and dragon boats and stuff like that. So all abilities and disabilities, yet the core strength you need to do this sport is just like top notch, right?
There's a big spectrum of options for people of all abilities, and it depends on where you're at in your life, how dedicated you are, because like any sport, like any athletic pursuit, you can be a sort of weekend warrior where you have a great time, you're having a competitive experience, you're having a good crew experience based on one practice a week.
Okay.
So you may practice once a week and you may race once or twice a season. And then there are folks who are more serious, who are not only training 2 to 3, 4, even 5 times a week, but they're also cross-training in the gym. They're doing weight and resistance training. They're doing aerobic and anaerobic sort of protocols to make sure that their performance is increased and those folks are competing at the international level as well.
Right. So do you have a dry land training and stuff like that? Like just for, okay.
Absolutely, yeah. We have a dedicated fitness facility that is that has a cadre of trainers who specialize in paddling performance.
Right.
That gym facility itself, which is owned and operated by Fairway Gorge Paddling Club.
Oh, is it that in that Selkirk waterway?
That's right. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Do you own Glow too?
No.
That's where I do most. That's where I do most of my training. Right
Well,
there.
our fitness facility is right next to Glow, and there's spaces open to the public as well because we have trainers that work with the general public as well. But our main focus, of course, is paddle sports.
Okay, cool. What now? What are the ages? Like, can like a 10-year-old get into this?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have a youth paddling?
Well,
Tell me about that.
We have kids camp through the summer. And
Kids camp.
Kids camp. So
I've run stuff for you on that.
That's
Okay,
right.
yeah,
And then they come and they learn all the boats: dragon boat, outrigger, kayak, stand-up board. They learn it all. But we're in the midst of restarting the youth program and working with after school.
Cool.
So kids can come and learn how to use the boats.
Do you know what I would think is cool? This is me like, oh, look at the squirrel. This is when I was a kid, we used to have speed skating. And it was school against school, and it used to just be 2 pieces of board with a leather strap, and that was the hinge, and then snap, and you'd go. Wouldn't that be awesome to have dragon boat racing school against school, and just have all the schools race against each other on the gorge?
That would be fantastic.
What do I have to do to get that to happen? Like, that would be so cool to have all the schools from the island come down one day and have a dragon boat race.
Well, we actually have a lot of schools that come and rent it for like an hour and a half, like team building.
Yeah, but I mean, as a competition.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, we would have to get some teachers on board.
Yeah, I mean, Scott might be the best person to help locate some really dedicated teachers, because teachers, their workloads are pretty high. But if we can find a few,
wouldn't that be wild though?
even in your audience, if there are a few teachers who want to step up, and we will support them 100%.
Yeah, that would be cool, right? That would be awesome. Yeah. I know you're big into the community. And not just with the fairway markets and stuff. And you guys have been doing this a long time, and I don't think you get the credit that you so muchly deserve. But can you tell me what in the community what you're most proud of?
Well, I mean, we just recently wrapped up Wet Dash, and we raised over how much?
Over $20,000, $21,000 during COVID. We raised for the BC Cancer Agency, specifically directed to men's health, cancer, prostate cancer initiatives.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then in the summer, we focus on just cancer research in general, or if there's something specific like a piece of equipment, we'll fundraise.
Okay.
Paddlers over the last 20 something on years, I think we've done over close to $800,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been doing it? Like, how little?
Paddling has been in the community for about 25.
A little over 25 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Which is a new sport, Scott. In your business, that's a brand new sport.
That's right.
It is, yeah. It's and there's there's lots of This is a really exciting time, actually. I mean, yeah, COVID, I get that. But you know what another one that's picked up is pickleball.
Oh, my.
Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, Scott, half of my athletes, my senior athletes who I coach who are 50 plus, they are rabid, passionate pickleball players.
Yeah, it's huge.
And they show up in my dragon boat with injuries from pickleball.
I know. There's a couple videos floating around too where they got pickleball fights, and it's like, I'm not kidding. It's like, go figure, right? Anything with the word pickle in it, you don't think it's
trouble.
but
it's trouble.
Well, there you go, right? But what's the switching over to the actual dragon boat racing that you see down closer to the inner harbor? What's that difference between what you're doing? Is there any?
That is it. That is what
that
we do.
is exactly what it is.
We train our athletes all year, the dedicated ones all year, and then the ones that have other things to do in their lives, like
ones we call
pickleball.
Pickleball.
They tend, the season for most recreational paddlers starts in March or April, and they train up to all of the races. And Fairway Gorge Paddling Club convenes most of the races on Vancouver Island. We manage most of the dragon boat races. So there's an island race series that all of these local and traveling paddlers participate in. And those range from, a couple of big races that we run here in Victoria on the water, right in Victoria. And then Nanaimo, of course. We do the race operations for Nanaimo, and there's a few other events that we run as well. So recreational paddlers train usually twice a week on the water in dragon boats. They train twice a week in order to get themselves to the start line at these various races.
That is so cool. What about on the mainland? Like, is it huge over there as well?
It's huge around the world, but on the mainland, yes.
But it can't be huge in Ontario.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Oh, boy.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, before COVID, Eric was racing in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
What? Well, yeah, okay, I get that, but
for the Canada, for the international dragon boat. So,
we have a men's national team.
Women's.
No, that's what. Yeah, so women. Is it Olympic sport? Can it be?
It's not Olympic, but it is certainly international for sure. And there's podium finishes at the international level around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've always when I watch the Olympics, I'm so fed up with the Olympics, with the corporate and all this, and then I get sucked in. Canada will win a gold in something, and I'm like, that's great. And then I'll switch over to ballroom dancing. I'm like, wow, this should be inline hockey or dragon boat racing or something, like, you know what I mean? What would it take to get that on that scale, to do something like that?
I think a lot of that has to do with how young the sport is. Like we just mentioned, here on the West Coast, it's 25 years. Well, in terms of Olympic pedigree, that's the blink of an eye. So it does take some time, and we are working cooperatively among countries to sort of raise the profile of dragon boat, which is growing so quickly. But at the high performance end, there are parallel sports, of course, that are in the Olympics, like sprint kayak, for example.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. And I do believe that there has to be something like, in order to even qualify, there has to be 32 countries that are actively doing that sport or something. It's a high number.
That's correct. Yeah. And we do have international competitions. One of the interesting things for dragon boat itself is that it's enjoyed by people who tend to be past what many would think of as the Olympic window, age window for performance. But a lot of former Olympians are engaged in outrigger and dragon boat and so on, because many high performance athletes in rowing and so on tend to burn out, and they stop competing in their early 20s, and their performance career is over, and then they can move all those performance aspirations over to dragon boat.
Right. Okay. Now, when you say that there's this international, and is there like a no, I'm sorry, Marty McBean, you can't play and you can't come out to this one. You're a pro. Is there like a level where an ex-Olympian sits in a boat that's coming out of Richmond and you go, oh, you're sandbagging? Like, is there anything like that?
No.
I don't know, man.
Matt, this Scott guy is pretty smart.
Well, I've been playing sports long enough to know that team is not a B team. That should be an A.
Well,
that's right.
Years and years ago, before it was Fairway Gorge, when it was Go Rowing, the club was developed and was put together by rowers.
Oh, I could see it. Like I could see some sandbaggers going, let's get, hey, Kevin Light, what are you doing Saturday? There's this big race going on down at the gorge.
Scott, we call those dial-up crews. So we do have dial-up or telephone crews that compete, especially in outrigger. You'll find that we have dial-up crews. But I think that from the sustainable growth of a sport, and this is political.
Yeah, of course,
to it, but the sustainable growth of a sport requires a kind of consistency and long-term, the long game. You want to win the long game, and you don't do that through dial-up and hot shots.
And I asked it, kind of in off the cuff, but it was more like the integrity. What I'm really gathering is that is it fair to say religious at its core? No. Okay.
No. I think like when you're bringing back to if an individual has some sort of international or some sort of professional ability, they still have to win that seat in that boat.
Right,
You know,
right.
you're no superstar.
No,
Only
no.
superstar is the whole boat.
Right, I'm just talking the integrity of the sport itself, where there's things you just don't do, and you know what I mean. Like, this is a very it's for fun and stuff, but it's taken very seriously. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
And, you know, it's
And
an amateur sport, Scott. But,
Right.
But still, we're founded in things like codes of conduct and
Yes.
fair play and professional race management to ensure that there's fair play, regardless of where you may sit as a team in the performance spectrum, so that everyone gets a chance at fair play. So we're a professional organization, and we treat that kind of the ethics of sport very seriously.
Absolutely. Is there a ref?
Oh, absolutely.
yes.
Oh, my
A judge? Where are they?
Well, the race management team, the race officials, their job is to make sure that fair play exists across the event itself. So in the lineups, in the boat loading, at the start line, at the finish line. So yeah, we have marshals both on shore and on the water.
Give me some examples of a is there a penalty? Like, you get a penalty,
yeah.
a 2 second, 5 second,
Yep.
what? Give me 3 penalties. Common.
Wake riding.
Wake-
For landlubbers, they may not know what this is, but wake riding is in cycling.
No.
If you get
No, I don't.
If you get in the slipstream of a group of cyclists,
Oh, like kart racing. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The resistance goes down, and your effort level for speed is easier. And that's the case on the water as well. So on the water, if you
so
find
drafting.
Exactly.
I got
That's
it.
exactly right. It was. So we call that wake riding or drafting.
You got to dumb things down for me, Eric.
For drafting, drafting is not permitted in straight line racing. So let's say it's a 500-meter race course. You are not permitted to draft, and the lanes are calibrated to prevent that if you race down the middle of the course. So if you
Are they censored?
Yes.
A buzzer will go off.
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
We have on-water marshals to do that.
Right.
So if we find that one boat is drifting left or right of their race course in order to take advantage of wake, we will penalize them. First, we'll instruct the steersperson by the water.
The drummer?
The steersman on the back of the boat. So he or she is the one that's making sure that boat's going straight from
With a
start
rudder?
to finish. Well, it's an oar. He or she
Really?
steers with an oar. Yeah, a great big long oar.
Okay.
The kind that you'd probably see in a bar somewhere.
Or in Louisiana, like
Sure.
one of them ones, yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those a straight old-fashioned wooden oar that's about probably 12 feet long, and they steer with that out of a yoke on the back of the boat. And they're the ones that are navigating that big...
Huckleberry Finn.
That's right.
Yeah, got it.
That 4,000 pounds down the start to finish,
Wow.
that's what he or she is doing.
Okay.
But we'll instruct them to shift left or right, and they are required through the rules of racing to respond to that water marshal.
So that's a warning.
Absolutely.
Okay. What would now we got 2 more to go, 2 more penalties, but what would a penalty be? Like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or disqualification?
Well, it can go the full range. So if the behavior is egregious and impacts the fair play for other boats on the course, then it could go as far as disqualification. But normally it would be some sort of penalty that we consider to be fair, given the circumstances.
Has there any time you've ever seen like trash talking between 2 boats? Has there
Oh,
been
yeah.
that?
Oh God, yeah.
No. Like chirping? Like full on? Really? Oh, you got to tell me about
Nicely.
this. No. This is a podcast. This ain't Check TV, man. No. Give me, like, is that common, chirping?
No.
Okay.
Too much.
It's certainly not. It's not encouraged. that's for
Banter?
sure.
Is that-
Yeah.
Okay.
There's smack talk.
While you're racing?
Oh no, people are too busy when they're racing.
No, I get.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're racing 500 meters, and you got to do it about 2
Right. Well,
minutes
that's
or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But
No
at the,
time.
at the start line and at the docks and so on, there can be some one-upmanship.
Yeah, but that's just good old banter, though.
Sure.
That's yeah.
that's right.
But I just mean like if just to throw the other team off and get in their head or something like that. No.
Well, that's not permitted at the start line. You cannot distract or do anything that could potentially impact the results of the race at the start line.
That's a penalty.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty serious stuff.
No, I get. Again, I don't think people know this. If you're not boat racing, I don't think you would know this stuff. So that's another penalty. So what's another common penalty that
Crashes, maybe?
crashes?
Well, let's not move to crashes. just yet, but,
Let's move to crash. It's the only reason I watch NASCAR.
there are crashes. Yeah, sure, we'll go to crashes. Yeah, there
Crashes
in recreational racing.
Yeah.
There can be water is a fluid. So water moves around in unexpected ways. So one of the things that can happen is there could be boat wake. There could be
marine life.
Sure.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a marine, like a seal or anything like that, come up and you go, "Oh, we got beat by a seal."
Well, there are at some racing a few years ago in Nanaimo, there was like an active sort of series of killer whales to the point where we actually considered stopping the races because the killer whales were encroaching into the race.
They didn't get the memo, though.
No, I wouldn't think so. Like, I considered was a little light. I'm thinking, what do you think we should do here, boys?
Well, there was some behind the scenes radio discussion at my end about whether to.
Let's just see how that boat from Nanaimo does.
I think the whales just wanted to get involved.
Well, they probably know the tradition. They're looking for banana leaves and rice. Okay, so there could be crowd, but what I thought the lanes were pretty far apart from each other. No,
not really. No, they're certainly. And what happens with boats? And this is water talk. But what can happen with boats is if you get within a certain range of one boat. You actually get pulled into the sort of trajectory of that boat.
Yeah,
they tend to sort of if you're not actively resistant, and qualified steers people, they get qualified through experience. And so everyone starts somewhere. So as you're learning how to steer, you make mistakes.
Okay.
And different waters. I mean, the inner harbor water from the gorge water to Nanaimo waters are very different.
Mm-hmm.
So
of course.
The steer needs to learn, and that's where you pretty much put in your time, your hours in learning all this, understanding the water and how to maneuver your oar.
So how do you navigate around the coho and the little taxis and the planes and is that's your day? There's no boat zone?
No.
What? That's an active harbor.
The on-water management works in conjunction. I think it would be actually fun for the public to hear the closed-circuit radio communications that go behind a race like that. So the amount of communication that goes through the Harbour Master, Transport Canada, Harbour Patrol, RCM SAR, the RCMP, the various operators, the commercial operators on the water and so on, is amazing. It's amazing to listen to, and it all gets coordinated sort of like an intricate kind of Rubik's Cube.
Would it be like an air traffic controller?
Absolutely. In fact, that's pretty much what it is, yeah.
Okay, so you got the guys going out for the whale watching, and they go, hey, we've got boat 12 going out, hang on to your race, and we'll be out of your hair in 5 minutes, and do heat 3 then?
That's correct.
That's right.
Oh, I could be that. I could do that.
You could, actually. You know what, Scott? You'd be perfect at that.
That's awesome. So what about equipment? Is like is there these marshals? Do they go around and look at everyone's paddles? Do they weigh the boats? Or is it just on the honor system?
Well, we own and maintain all the boats, so we know what they weigh.
The marshals don't, though.
Sure. Oh no, there's no actual weight restriction. Like say you've got a really light boat of people who all weigh 120 pounds.
No, I mean the actual boat itself, Eric. Like,
right.
would the man, like this boat? Are there specs that each team crew they have to? You can't have that. That material is way lighter, and you're going to have an advantage. Is there that going on?
The fleet, the racing fleet of boats that we have, doesn't change. So they're always the same. People can't bring their own boats. But
they have to use yours.
That's
right.
correct.
We provide it.
Yeah, we provide it.
Oh,
Yeah, so
see,
Toronto,
again, nobody would know that.
Well, I mean,
do you rent them to them? Do you make money off it?
Well, No.
You should.
For outrigger, for outrigger canoes, people do bring their own boats, and we have. I sit on a board that sort of manages outrigger racing in Canada, and we do have a sort of recorded inventory of what all those boats weigh across Canada. So the old-fashioned boats tend to weigh more, and then there's a new class of boats that are made out of carbon. And at Fairway Gorge Paddling Club, we have those carbon boats that weigh a great big 40-foot long racing boat weighs 140 pounds, which is just astonishing.
No kidding. What about Life Vest? Do you have to wear a life vest?
Absolutely, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody?
Mandatory.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Mandatory.
Has anybody ever fallen in?
Not really.
The stern.
Oh, the steers.
Stern's fallen in?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
If their oar gets caught or they lose footing.
Has the drummer ever lost his stick?
Not that I've heard.
No, and there are rules around drumming. God, I don't know how much detail you want. But,
I want lots. I want to, yeah.
The drummer's bum cannot leave the seat.
Yeah.
What? What? That's the perfect job for me. That is the perfect job for me. I want to be a drummer.
And I think you have to drum as you come through the finish line.
Well, you have to. Well, it depends.
A solo?
International rules. You have to drum at different points during the race.
Yeah.
But I
no,
drum myself, and I drum the whole race.
Yeah.
Well, okay, no, you back up here. So drumming, I thought was just for timing.
It is.
It is. Yeah. But a lot of crews don't drum out of practice. They just don't do it.
Yeah.
And so
really?
drumming at races may be the only time that you will actually
Have to drum.
experience drumming. Yeah.
What's another drummer rule?
Oh, well, you have to. You're bound by the code of conduct, so you have to. You can't swear like a trucker at your.
Maybe drumming's out then.
It can. Some of the best race photographs and race video are of drummers in moments of extreme emotion.
Yeah.
It's quite something.
Right.
Yeah.
Have I sworn during this podcast? Have you noticed?
I'm not at all.
No. Okay. Good. That's that. This will be if I hold out to the rest of this. This will be the first podcast that I haven't. So come on, no swearing. So I think I've learned a ton here about the stuff. What is it the atmosphere of the competition? Can you win money? Is it like a bond spiel? Is there a tournament? How does this all go down?
I think at our recreational, it's not. There's no purse.
Purse. Okay.
There are sometimes.
At different other.
That's the better way to put it, right, Jen? Yeah.
Purse.
The purse. Exactly.
But I think
Any side bets? Like a
Well,
horse?
Like
we
Vegas?
would not. We
Like,
would
no,
not.
like I'll take the fifth in the third heat or something.
That's a great idea to run books on.
I'm telling. Listen, guys, I'll do the school program and I'll be the bookie. I'm telling you right now. We'll get this. Like, how much did we raise for cancer? We're gonna double that just on the betting.
I think at our level, no, there's no purse. Per
Okay.
se. It's a lot of it is bragging rights.
Yeah, fair
And medals.
dues.
I mean,
medals.
they get podium
Yeah.
finishes and they get medals. You know.
Okay.
And paddlers are very serious about.
Oh, yeah.
their
No, I've
bragging
seen
rights
it.
and
Yeah.
their medals.
It's a big deal.
It's to the second, to the millisecond. I mean,
Yeah.
races are so tight at times that
It's a big deal.
We have to watch video replay.
But you know what I like too is the couple events that you asked, or I can't remember who you. I think it was you asked me to volunteer, and I did security.
Could have been.
Yeah. The guy said to me, he was an ex-RCMP guy, actually, an older guy, and he's like, hey, I think you'd be perfect to run security at the beer garden. I went, I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
You'd be the taste tester.
Well, yeah, but it just like a lot of the things that you guys did. Like, are you in charge of the Dragon Boat Festival too, or no?
Well, we run the Vancouver Island Dragon Boat Festival, and
At the Inner Harbor.
Well, we've actually moved that to the Island Festival is located in the Gorge Waterway for exactly the reasons that we just chatted about a few minutes ago. The amount of commercial and air traffic and water traffic within that small inner harbor window.
Okay. It was too much.
It's starting to compromise some of the race. For example, the race course in the inner harbor that's available for traditional 500-meter racing is now approaching 450 meters instead of 500 meters. So that's technical.
Yeah,
but
still.
But serious athletes want a 500-meter course.
That's right.
Okay, but for like the attendance was the hottest ticket in town. I just want to get back to that.
It's free. It's still free.
No, I get it.
Hottest
but
ticket to come.
No, there was no parking. Like I had to do the parking when I was doing security.
Yes.
There was no place to park because you had a beer garden, you had you had a taco truck, and you had this, and it was a real kind of a cool weekend of festivities, like a Highland Gamesy type thing, right? And Highland Gamesy. Did I just say? Oh,
yeah, you did. You said that, Scott.
And, and as soon as I said it, I'm like, I can't swear.
The Vancouver Island Dragon Boat Festival in August, if all things go, I mean, who knows, Scott?
Yeah,
let's
I'm going for it.
Let's just hope people are going to practice and work hard to get to the start line in August for the Vancouver Island Dragon Boat Festival. But it'll be in the Selkirk area, and there's tons of viewing and stands and entertainment.
I thought it was
better
really cool.
parking.
Yeah, no, but I just thought it was really cool how you got like different vendors out and lots to do, and for those who didn't see the race or whatever, and then all the athletes are kind of just milling about and stuff like that. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really well done. So
the event will be like that.
Yeah,
in the gorge for sure.
Yeah,
it's going to be still a community event.
Okay.
So if people are coming down with the family, and so there'll be activities for kids, and watch a little racing and enjoy some food.
I think it's wicked, Jenny. Yeah, I love it.
Good.
I think it's important to note too that your organization is nonprofit, not for profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you kind of talk about that a bit, Eric?
Fairway Gorge Paddling Club's a non-profit society, which I think is a wonderful thing. That means that all of its effort, all of its investment in boats and coaching and so on, all gets folded back into serving paddlers. Yeah. And to some extent serving the public as well, because we have some services that are just made available to the public. So, for example, group bookings, company experiences on the water, our fitness facility. Yeah. We have a new retail store called Waterfront Outfitters that's in the Selkirk area as well. And all of that effort gets reinvested, folded back into the future of our sport. Okay. So I'm a big believer in that.
That is so cool. Now, is there if a boat gets damaged, can you repair it? Do you have somebody that does that, a maintenance guy, or
you are on it? You are on it.
That's what I do, Eric.
I think it's interesting to put our particular facility in some context. So most amateur dragon boat and outrigger clubs across Canada are lucky to have one staff person. Right. And therefore, that staff person is probably a multitasker. So
I know that feeling, Eric. Yeah.
So that person is, repairing and fixing and, doing all kinds of things. And then they have a cadre of volunteers that sort of help them. Right. We are a nonprofit, but we run on a different model. So we run on a staff model so that people can specialize as coaches, as trainers, as dock officials, as race management crew, all kinds of things. So we, instead of having to be lucky to have one staff person, we have at the high season, we have as many as 60 employees. And we run, even during COVID, we have run with between 25 and 30 employees. So of those employees, we have a small team of folks that do maintenance, boat repair, dock building, all kinds of things like that.
Okay. Is there a wax? Is it like a downhill ski or snowboard? Is there? I don't know. Is there? No.
Well, no. I mean,
like a beeswax?
No, outrigger just gets rinsed off because of the salt water. But dragon boats just sit there. The Millenniums are like invincible.
Okay.
I mean,
we do clean them, and we use different kinds of cleaning compounds that are environmentally friendly.
They would have to be. Yeah.
But there are just
those
like
super slider snow skates.
Well,
Like
you mentioned sort of like the ins and outs of some different sports, and there are rumors and sort of gossip about things like hydrophobic coatings that you can put on boats and so on.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the sport, outrigger, drag boat, doesn't matter what it is, paddling sports are bound by the hydrodynamics of a hull on the water.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what the coating is. Ultimately, everything comes down to the performance of the athlete.
So
Well, there's sometimes, when we were about to race, is this boat clean? Everybody reaches underneath the boat and feels if there's
any
algae
beer cans or
shells
anything like that?
anything stuck to it.
Any
from-
fishing rods?
During training, some steers people, without telling the rest of the crew, will drag a milk crate out of the back of the boat. And
Endurance.
that one little plastic milk crate causes enormous drag.
Yeah.
Wow.
We call it endurance training.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
Strength
fill it full of weight?
No,
the
just
whole,
the
milk
crate
crate.
itself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, imagine me getting in there. Lord. Oh, that poor drummer. But what happens if, like, because you put them on racks, no? Like
Not
like,
dragging boats.
what happens if? Oh no.
They stay in the
So
water.
what happens if one gets chipped? Is that like, can you repair that with gel coat?
Oh yeah, we do our own gel coat and
so
carbon.
Okay, so
Yep.
you blend that in and
Yep.
paint it, or
Yep.
that whole bit. Okay. What would it take to get ISN and Raw Sportscast on the side of one of them boats there now?
We can talk, Scott.
All right, we'll talk off air. Good stuff. Well, guys, listen. This is that's an hour right there. So I know, right? What did I tell you before, Eric? I said you just go. It's just before you know it. It's that's the way it goes. But I want to just give you guys the last word each. Of what where you started from, whatever. Where do you think you're going to go? What is your goals coming forward? Any of the tournaments coming up? Tell people where you are, what the fees are, stuff like that. So Jenny and Eric, the last word goes to you guys about your beautiful club.
Well, I guess follow us on Facebook and
yeah.
and check out the website because it has all of our events and training and what we offer.
I'll put those in the links on the
Yeah.
YouTube thing and the Spotify and all that stuff.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
I think
Okay.
our club is looking to just keep the sport alive.
Well, how many members? Ish.
Well, it's seasonal, but it's less seasonal than it used to be, which I think is a sign of success. I'm quite proud of the fact that FGPC has grown a sort of annual member base that train on the water all year round. But during the winter, we have about 600 to 700 weekly members, and in the summer,
Holy,
it
awesome.
sort of caps over 1,000 members in the summer.
That is so cool.
It is. It is.
Wow. Do you have locker rooms?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so cool.
I know it's pretty fun. It's
no
I
kidding.
mean,
Wow.
I started it because I busted my knee playing volleyball.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
it's-
right. Your
yeah.
brother used to do the volleyball thing at Sticky Wicket.
He used to play there. Yeah, he
Yeah,
plays
the
there
league or
too.
something. I used to get those emails too.
Yeah,
Yeah, upstairs.
yeah.
But so Eric, moving forward, what do you want to see out of this club moving forward?
I'm just I'm really proud of the fact that we have we're professionalizing the sport by means of having staff, including young staff, who are earning a living growing the sport. So I'm
cool.
incredibly excited about that, and I'm
Should
very
be.
excited about the fact that we are encouraging and nurturing athletes who may never have had athletic experiences in terms of team development, team dynamics of all ages. So we're on a growth path in terms of inviting more and more people into the sport every year.
Yeah.
Even with COVID, we have grown, and after COVID, we hope to grow even more. So we have huge capacity to make sure that people in Greater Victoria and on Vancouver Island enjoy paddling sports right here at home.
Absolutely, and you should be proud because it's a wonderful thing, and there's more people moving here. Should we tell the people that are thinking about moving here that we're full? Is that or no? Or just
We have room. We have
Okay, I
room.
got it. All right.
As long as they don't build a bridge,
Yeah.
Scott. No bridge.
You don't want a bridge to Vancouver?
No,
You
no.
clearly don't live up island like I do, my friend. You get caught once, that'll change your mind. You won't be paddleboarding around the Malahat, I'll tell you that right now. Well, folks, Eric, Jenny Luhu, I just love you, Jenny. So, and Eric, thanks for doing our little show here.
A real pleasure, Scott.
It was just heaps of fun. I learned a ton. So yeah, we're going to finish up with that, and you guys are welcome back at any time. Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Scott.
And Jenny, as usual, if you have anything you need ISN to do, just
Will do.
whatever you need. And with that, I'd like to thank both my guests again, Eric and Jen, and from my partner Howie Mays from Howie's Car Corral, and myself, I want to wish each and every one of you. These are trying times, but we're resilient, and we will get through everything that's happening, and the new stuff that's going out here now. But from my partner Howie Mace at Howie's Car Corral and myself, Scott Harrigan from ISN, I want to wish each and every one of you a very happy holidays, and be safe. Thanks.
Thank you.